Norman Borlaug changed the world. Through his work in plant breeding, he touched over 1 billion lives. So how will you make a difference? How will you leave your fingerprints on the world? Like Norman, you will find that knowledge, vision, passion, and determination are key. He received a degree in forestry in 1937 and a doctorate in plant pathology in 1942. After graduating and working in the industry for 2 years, Borlaug moved to Mexico to help farmers improve their crops and increase their yields. When Borlaug arrived, he found unchecked disease destroying the wheat crop. The soil was exhausted and depleted of nutrients. Yields were low and farmers were having trouble feeding their families. Each starving person that Borlaug encountered planted a seed of compassion in his soul. He wrote to his wife saying, "These places I've seen have clubbed my mind. They are so poor and depressing. I don't know what we can do to help these people, but we've got to do something." Borlaug's team needed to increase yields by changing the production system and introducing wheat varieties that would resist the diseases. Dr. Borlaug's task as a plant breeder was to find a line resistant to the disease, cross it with locally adapted susceptible varieties, and select the resistant lines. Borlaug and his team accomplished this after only 3 short years. By evaluating and selecting materials twice each year, they were able to accelerate the breeding process. The projected time to raise resistant plant varieties was cut in half. This strategy became known as shuttle breeding. Because breeding materials were grown under the summer sun of the Central Highlands and the winter sun of the Sonoran Desert, the lines they developed were insensitive to length of day. This made the wheat extremely adaptable to different growing regions. In addition to being disease-resistant, the new wheat varieties were highly responsive to fertilizer. With ample fertilizer, the new wheat varieties flourished. Their heads were promising, growing fat with extra grain. But with this success came an unexpected challenge. The new plants became top-heavy and the tall stalks collapsed under the weight of the grain, a problem called lodging. Harvesting was difficult and yields suffered greatly, but Borlaug's team refused to give up. Yet again, plant breeding provided a solution that could save the yields while retaining the benefits of a highly responsive crop. Breeders developed a trait called semi-dwarf. Semi-dwarf wheat grew with stronger, shorter stalks that could support the weight of the grain. Borlaug's team solved the lodging problem by adapting the semi-dwarf line to Mexico. These semi-dwarf varieties became known as miracle seeds. They yielded more than other wheat varieties. Another jump in yields was incredible. Yields doubled first because of disease resistance and again because of dwarf wheat. What seemed impossible only 15 years earlier became a reality when in 1956 Mexico became self-sufficient in wheat production. In 1963, they had enough grain to export and help supply the rest of the world. This coordinated breeding effort affected more than just Mexico. Borlaug expanded his vision and program to India and Pakistan, drastically increasing their food production systems as well. Pakistan produced 5 million tons in 1965 and 8 million tons in 1970. India produced 12 million tons in 1965 and 20 million tons in 1970. The U.S. Agency for International Development labeled the dramatic improvements in food production the Green Revolution. Norman Borlaug refused to settle for anything less.